One time where I thought, sorry, but I have to quit early because there was 3 decks, like 3 turntables, and they were all skipping, all jumping from all sides. It was like not stable at all. And that's the first time in my life that I said after 2 hours instead of 3, I said, is the DJ already here that playing after me? Because I can't continue like this.
Natalie. Yeah. Ogazón. Ogazón. Where does the name come from?
It's actually my mother's maiden name.
Oh.
Her name is Susana Ogazón, Spanish. And when I chose my DJ name, I wanted something that is unisex, where you don't see necessarily is it a woman or a man performing beforehand. So I thought Ogazón was a nice one.
So props to Mama.
Yes. Sometimes I'm a little bit... it's tricky with the accent.
Yeah.
And I've seen so many versions of my name. I've seen Ogazón, I've seen Ozagon, I've seen Ogazón in every single accent possible, even the little head. So, yeah, that's not always the easiest, let's say, but I'm getting there.
So Mama is from Spain.
Mama's from Spain.
Dad from Luxembourg.
Exactly.
Nice. And you moved from Luxembourg to?
Amsterdam. I studied in Amsterdam, studied business administration. Did 4 or 5 years in Amsterdam, of which half a year in Hong Kong, where I did a internship, which was amazing. I mean, amazing now looking back, but really tough when I was there. But then I came back to Amsterdam, finished my studies, and at one point I decided to move to Berlin, which is now almost 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah.
Big journey.
Yeah.
And you started to play?
I started to play back in Amsterdam, so it's 7-8 years ago.
How did it start? What's the journey? It
sounds always so cheesy when I tell the story, but it's true. I mean, I started going out in Amsterdam, really discovering the electronic music scene there. Big clubs that have a big influence or had a big influence on me were Trau. I don't know if you've heard of it?
No.
It's where, so from the same guys that were running the school now, or were running the school, Trau was before. It was like in an old newspaper factory, super sick building, like huge ceilings, and it had like this verdieping, this floor that was like underground. It was very, very cool. And that's basically where I had my first real techno clubbing experiences. And then also the interest grew, and I wanted to discover different scenes in different places. And of course, Berlin was on top of my list. And then the first time I actually went to Berghain, one club that has had a huge impact on me, as many others I know. That was the first time where I thought like, oh, okay, this is really something. And also listening to music and being like, yeah, I get why you put this track, but if I was a DJ, I would have put this track on. And then I would sing the melody in my head whilst the other music was playing. And then I always told my friends, like, yeah, you know what would really fit for here and this, and they're like, maybe you should actually start doing this. And I've always had this recurring dream that I would wake up from and that I actually played Panorama Bar. It's a bit cheesy, I know, but I'm gonna try. And it came true a few years later. So, all my friends got together and they got me some decks for my birthday back in the day. Sweet. Actually, with a card saying, so that one day your dream comes true. And then when it did come true, they all came from Amsterdam.
Wow.
So it was like a full circle moment. Yeah.
That's a very fulfilling.
Yeah.
What's your best memory in this scene? Your own journey.
Best memory? I mean, that was one really that... it really worked itself up to that moment. So I think that was, for me, like ultimate fulfilling moment of my career. But after that, so many moments happened where, I don't know, my first gig I played with one artist that I really look up to, Brian Elliott, who now has become a friend and someone I shared decks with on a regular basis. That was also something that has really... or made me really happy. And it's an achievement, for sure.
For sure. Anything planned with him soon, music-wise?
A lot. I mean, it starts with the fact that we have a lot of dates that we're sharing this year, which is nice. He just became a dad. So I'm really happy for him. And I'm also really happy that he still takes the time to, go touring in the summer, and that I have the chance to actually play with him. It's also nice because, we're friends now, and you kind of do this whole traveling pain sometimes, going from one festival in a different country to another without sleep and so on. You do it together. So that's really nice. And then there might be something coming up soon on his label.
The Loop.
The Loop. Yes. I mean, I've just started producing not too long ago, so I don't feel comfortable sharing like entire tracks because I know they're not where they should be yet in terms of production. So I'm taking it step by step, but he's also pushing me, and he knows like, you can do this, and it doesn't have to be perfect, and you don't have to do it alone. Like I'm getting some help from friends, producers, but he really, really wanted me to release something on his label. So I don't know if I can actually say that.
I'm not trying. You don't have to ask me.
Okay, well, there will be something coming up.
Yeah, a second Loop.
A Loop. Sorry. Or in my...
When does it come out? Can we ask?
That I don't know, actually.
You don't know? Okay.
No. But soonish. I think the deadline has passed like 3 times already, so...
Classic?
Yeah.
What do you mean classic?
I mean, these things as they go.
Life.
Yeah.
How do you deal with the whole traveling stress and the no sleep and health in general?
It's a big topic, actually. And I notice now, for example, starting Friday, I have 7 shows within 10 days. And a lot of them are in different countries, so a lot of planes and a lot of sleepless ones too. And what I do is I just take a month off everything, like alcohol, and I'm just completely sober. Mm-hmm. And this I'm doing this month because I also know that I have a lot of big things coming up where I really need to have a clear mind. And also summer, I know, like June I have 14 shows, which is like every second day. And that is only possible if you have a clear mind, because traveling with a lack of sleep, that's okay. But traveling with a lack of sleep and a hangover is really tough. And I've done it before, and I cannot recommend it.
That sounds like a lot of Aperol Spritz.
It sounds like a lot of Aperol Spritz. And it's tough because in summer, I mean, it's so nice to just have a show and have a little Aperol, a little Moscow Mule, glass of champagne,
It is.
It's so available, but that's also, I'm really disciplined when it comes to this. When I say, I'm not going to do a month without this, then I find it really easy. And it's not like hard, or I do quite a lot of sports during the week. So I really have this routine that I follow. I think that in between the gigs, like the weekly thing is really important for me to have, get up early in the morning, go do sports, do the things that I would usually do if I wasn't a DJ,
Do you pace yourself with this whole health routine thing in the week and like in general? Because like I completely quit everything 1.5 and 6 months ago, and this played a huge role in what's happening nowadays. But like to do things, like to do whatever you want on a party and then to stop for like 1 month, whatever, how do you do this? How does it work for you?
Like mentioned, I just, it's a very conscious choice of mine. Like I really look at my calendar and think, okay, this is coming up, and I notice that it stresses me out in advance. Of course, I try to really take it every week as it comes. Because I used to be like, oh my God, in 2 months I'm playing Berghain downstairs and I haven't, prepared. And I'm like, is it only in 2 months? You have time. So I really take it every week as it comes, but it's also nice to have it in the back of your mind. So for example, when I go digging and I find records, I'm like, oh, this would really fit for the gig that I have in 2 months. But I don't stress about it like I used to. Instead, I just say, okay, this is coming up. You will need to be focused and have a clear mind. So I'm just taking a month where I'm really just being super focused and sober in that regards. And then what also helps is I pick a party. Like, for example, my birthday is coming up, turning 30, also playing a special gig that weekend. So there, for example, I'm like, hey, then this is the time where I will party again, and where I will let loose. So have like these pinpoints where I say, okay, this is when I will go nuts, and this is the time in between. So it's totally doable. Yeah.
And what's the secret routine?
The secret routine during the week?
Yes.
Wake up. Like I really like to sleep. So I actually sleep like 8 hours a night. I think during the week I try to just recover during the night. And just have like the Mondays, mostly the day that I take for myself. I just do things that are good for me. For example, something really silly is, it's not like I'm not really into nails or whatever, but I go to the pedicure once every now and then. And not even to have nice nails, but just because that's the 1 hour in a day where there's no Wi-Fi down there. You know, I'm just sitting on this massage chair getting pedicured. And I'm like, I don't need nice feet, but it's just like this.
It feels good.
It feels good.
Yeah.
And that's really the time of the month. I do it once a month that I really feel like I'm taking for myself. It's so silly.
But that's so important, especially nowadays that everything's happening so fast for everyone. And as you said, our phones are in our pockets or our hands on the sixth finger. And we just spend so much time connecting or doing... Sometimes just like to pull out your phones and just like scroll, and you shouldn't, but you do automatically.
It's true.
Can you disconnect from that? Do you?
I should disconnect more, because even when I say I'm taking the day for myself, there's always like a call or an email that reaches me at one point where I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I should have a look into this. Yeah. And then even if I am taking the time for myself, I'm still with my mind constantly on standby, because I'm like, well, maybe something will come in or whatever. And in the end, it shouldn't really disrupt that time that I take for myself, because nothing can be as important, than like the day you take for yourself. So the only time I actually noticed that this wasn't the case was when I was like, okay, I was so tired. I had so many gigs behind, like, I think it was after ADE Amsterdam, where I was like 6 shows in 5 days or something ridiculous. And then I came and I said, okay, Tuesday, Vabali, just me, myself, and I, And that is the only time where I really completely disconnected. But all the other times, I must say, I'm really bad at it. I also feel I have a hard time to not be productive. I feel like I need to be productive
all the time. Yeah.
So even if I'm at home on my laptop, I'm like, I should be looking for new music. I should be doing this. I should be going through my vinyl and, rearranging it all the time. I have really hard time not doing anything.
And since you work from home as well, how do you disconnect home from work? I close the door. So you have an extra room, a kind of office?
No, I have the living room, basically.
Okay.
That's why I spend most of my chill time when I just like beam something onto the wall in my bedroom and just watch something. But yeah, when I'm home, I'm mostly just doing things.
I do work a lot from home as well, and I feel the pain, so that's why I'm asking. But the thing is, like, when we do work from from our patients, it's such a hard feeling to not do them, because okay, I'm just gonna do more things, be better, become better, progress.
It also doesn't always feel like work, right?
Yes, that's the thing.
I mean, it's not like, I have to go search for music. Like, I love listening to new music. Sometimes I feel like, okay, I need to update my bag, even though I'm not really in the mood to go on a Discogs hunt. I have to kind of. But I mean, most of the time it comes naturally, and then I'm like, get lost in the void anyway.
How long are you digging session?
Oh, it really depends. But Discogs, I have different different
Discog session
processes of digging. No, either I go to shops or I order online and I pick it up, which I often do here, like with Hardwax. I just listen to the weeklies and then I pick them up once a week. Then there's the records that I buy on Discogs, but those mostly I look for one record and then I look at who is selling them. And if there's a seller that sounds interesting, I go through his collection. I'm like, okay, I'm going to just listen to almost everything he has. And that takes weeks, like sometimes 2 weeks or something. And then I have like an order of 35, 40 records.
You're the kind of person as well that listens to everything. It's like, hey, I gotta find that.
Yeah, I need those 2 Euro gems.
I mean, that's where the magic happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's really time consuming, but I mean, sometimes I do it at the airport when I'm waiting for my plane or on the go, or it's not ideal because the Discogs app is not great, but yeah, I always do it. It's a constant thing. Sometimes even too constant that my cart has been like kind of full for the last 3 weeks, and I'm still it's getting fuller and fuller, but I'm not making the call. Actually, I have one big order coming today, and I'm really excited. Yeah.
Well,
just in time for the weekend.
Perfect.
Yeah.
How many?
36. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Keeps me busy.
It keeps you busy.
For sure. No, it's good because I also feel like when there's big weekends coming up or like a few weeks that are filled with gigs, I really need new music. I cannot replay the same tracks over and over again.
Yeah.
The good thing is I have quite a big collection now where I can also just go pick some music out, but even if it's not for the other, it's for myself. I don't want to listen to the same stuff over.
But that's a more mental thing about every person. Like when you listen, of course, to the same music over and over and over, plus you play it all the time, you have the feeling that you get bored from that music. And like that person, the people that you're playing from, like won't necessarily come to every show.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm not rearranging my bag every time for the people, more for myself, because I get bored of listening to the tracks, and then I'll play them again here and there. But
that's how you get better.
That's how I get better.
Do you keep all your vinyls?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I sold a bunch now. Mostly the early stuff, a bit more this deep house, minimal stuff that I had. It makes me really happy to also know that someone buys them and plays them again, because in my collection it's just picking up that.
Sitting there, yeah.
So also I need space. So that's actually mostly the case. Looks like a vinyl warehouse in my house, right?
You have a mattress
on the floor
and vinyls.
Wall.
That's to decorate the whole.
No, but getting there. So
bad.
I'm looking. I really need to find a studio or a space or something where
I saw a story on Instagram the other day. I was like, okay.
Please. So if you know anything, let me know. That's kind of impossible. I'm opening up my preferences. Otherwise, I'll never find it.
You said that you watched movies.
Yes.
What are you into?
I mean, I really love Sofia Coppola as a director, mostly also because of I like visual movies. I mean, in the sense that it maybe doesn't have the most exciting story behind it. When I watch movies with my dad, he's like, "But you only watch movies of old men smoking cigarettes where nothing happens." I'm like, well, if the picture is, I mean, I really like watching these kind of movies, and also it's inspiring. Like, for example, Sofia Coppola, Virgin Suicides. The soundtrack is by Air, which is one of my favorite ever duo. Which they were actually in Berlin. I went to their concert. It was amazing. Really happy I did. And it inspires me on so many levels. And also for me, connecting music with visual, with picture, I find it really interesting because as an artist, I also think that it's kind of intertwined.
Goes together, safe.
It goes together, and that's why. Also with my Instagram, I take some pictures. Wouldn't consider myself a photographer. I just like a hobby photographer. At the beginning, I was thinking, the first agent I was with, he was like, yeah, maybe you should make a separate account for your DJing and the pictures you just leave on your pictures account, And I thought, but why would I do that? Because I mean, it's part of what I like, of my artistry, and how I see the world and how I play the music that I play. I feel like it's kind of, you could connect both, I mean, I see it a lot with the pictures that I take, that my eyes is attracted by patterns and shadows and like these organic forms, and then I see that also with music, that I play a lot of this rhythmic kind of patterns too. And I wouldn't want to devise both, because they're part of
who you are,
and who I am.
your vision. So they're not going to be an Ogazón Instagram?
No Ogazón Instagram. I mean, also, like, it's just not who I am. I don't really take photos of myself much, or also I'm not really inspired by most of the profiles that, I mean, I don't want to frown upon or talk down. It's just not who I am. I don't like seeing snippets of parties or, you know, just the highlights of all the hands in the air moments. To me, it's really not how I want to be represented, because I am not just, I mean, like, it's not. I don't want to reduce it down to those 7 seconds where all the hands were in the air. And also, I don't want people to then come because of those videos, because my set is not going to be only hands in the air moments, you know? So it's just how I see things. And
many people don't understand that.
Yeah.
That's a kind of like fake image that is like put online, is that it gives you a bad image or like a wrong image, distorted image of what party is really happening.
Yeah.
And also, like, with the length of the set, a long set will never be represented in 7 seconds or on snippets of this 3-4 hours.
Exactly.
Never ever.
Yeah.
How do you curate your Instagram?
It's mostly really photos that I take. I mean, I take them a lot with my iPhone, actually, but also with an old camera that I have, like 35 millimeters film camera. And I just look, and I mean, I think sometimes I add a photo that has been taken of me here and there, but again, that's really just secondary. Like, I like to have just a nice vision. You come onto the profile and you're like, oh, this makes sense. It is curated, it's well thought through, and I do add my dates so people also know, you know, that I'm busy as a DJ, but I don't add them by posting a photo of me on the festival stage, you know, like I just use a photo of a wall. Like this, for example, I find actually quite, it's quite aesthetic, you know.
Be our guest.
It's the corners, I don't know, it's just there's something about this, like...
Susan, the owner of the shop, has a very, very good taste.
Yeah.
Also, like, the whole studio is designed very monochrome.
Yeah. I like it. I see it.
Me too. I'm very happy to work here.
I understand.
You played a lot. You dig a lot. You have an apartment that's getting smaller because of all these vinyls.
Yeah.
Next to that, what are the difficulties you faced over the last year?
I think one of the main challenges for me is that I feel in this scene that it's very... either you're a techno DJ or you're a house DJ. And that is something that I find a little bit difficult to kind of come out of this box. Because I don't consider myself as a techno artist or a techno DJ, but I don't consider myself as a house DJ either. I'm just a DJ playing like different genres. And it's hard sometimes to because promoters, maybe they don't know really where to place you, but they're mostly seeing you on this kind of lineup, but you also kind of want to show them that you can do other music than only house music. And I think that is really something that I wouldn't say struggle, but that I try to change a little bit also because I thought, do I need an alias if I want to play a different genre of set? But I don't want to, because I mean, it is part of me. And that is something that I struggle with, I would say, and where it's really important to work with my agent closely. He understands that, and it's also really nice to actually have clubs or promoters that trust me and that do give me this platform, or say, hey, which floor do you want to play? That is something I really, really appreciate, and That is one of the struggles. I mean, besides, of course, the vinyl DJ struggles with the technical aspect, but I think that's a topic that is also has been discussed many, many times.
You got your AirTags in your...
I did. I do have my AirTag, my keys in my wallet too, because, never know. But also there, I say, many people sometimes, DJs that play both, let's say, digital and... vinyl, they're like, vinyl never works for me, and I have a theory now. So if you are...
No, it's getting crunchy.
Yeah. If you are a DJ that has CDJs and Technics on your rider, the sound technician cares that he wants to work, of course, but if the techniques are not super well calibrated or if they're not well set up, well, you can always play digital, right? However, if you only have techniques on your rider, he must make sure that those
it's working.
He or she, of course, sorry, that it works, So he or she really need to make sure that the setup is suitable.
Sure.
Otherwise, the DJ cannot perform. And I notice it more and more that DJs are like, I always have this one turntable on my rider, but it never seems to work. And then I kind of have to go back to the digital. I'm like, yeah, but if you have only turntables, then most of the time they actually make it work. And I noticed this. I used to have more problems at the beginning, of course, because I was smaller and they were like, opening DJ, whatever. But now they know, okay, this DJ only plays with vinyl. And I actually encountered less and less problems, funnily enough.
I never thought about it, but yes, it makes totally sense. But also like the fact that you have to change the technique, like the techniques with the pioneers, like makes it's not long. It's like 2 minutes, not even.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more the fact that they know even if it doesn't work, the DJ can go back to the digital.
Just do your job.
Yeah, I know.
I know. Even if it's like 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning, it's like you pay to do this.
Exactly. Or once I actually played at a show, and then the sound guy came to me. He's like, "I hope you brought your USB stick." I didn't even start, and I was already so stressed. He said, "Yeah, because this is never going to work." So I basically had to come up with solutions, and in the end, I always do is kind of try to make it work. There's only one time where I thought, sorry, but I have to quit early because there was 3 decks, like 3 turntables, and they were all skipping, all jumping from all sides. It was like not stable at all. And that's the first time in my life that I said after 2 hours instead of 3, I said, is the DJ already here that playing after me? Because I can't continue like this.
And this, my friend, is how you turn a house party into a hard bass party.
Yeah, exactly.
How did it turn out at the end, the party?
I mean, for me, it was awful. In the end, the DJ came a little bit earlier, so I played another half an hour of basically just panic transition. I did what I could.
How do you keep calm in this kind of situations? Does meditation, is meditation part of your routine as well? Vodka? 20 minutes ago, Natalie was pretending to think.
Fake news. It's all fake news. No, but yeah, when it goes really downhill, I either just try to keep a straight face, or I drown my sorrows in vodka. Thankfully, it never happened.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll be alcoholic.
What is life? Do you need help?
I'm good.
Any other challenges you faced over the last years?
I think it's also this image that people have of DJing, living the life, traveling the world, meeting amazing people, playing great shows. Wouldn't say call it a challenge, but it's not only fun and games. I mean, there's a lot of sacrifices you make, like a lot of weekends, a lot of birthdays, a lot of weddings you're not gonna attend just because you're working during the weekend, and also the traveling solo. It's not something that I'm really bothered by because I really can entertain myself, and I actually like it. That's like the time that I'm like, okay, this is now you on the road. This is your thing. I personally like it, but I know from many other colleagues that they're having difficulties with that. And also just like this intense lifestyle, because it's a lot of adrenaline, it's a lot of stress, a lot of, flying, and it's just not always the fun and games. And of course the gigs that are not great, because on the Instagram, I sound like a boomer, you only see the great,
it's curated.
one for the book.
Curated.
There's one for the books.
Must be a pretty big book.
Yeah.
Because everyone's talking about it.
It's huge. How many chapters does it have? Like my book, I can count like really a handful of gigs that I really say these were amazing.
Here is it a novel? It's artsy.
Short stories. No, but many of the shows are actually just work, you know, and maybe the crowd is, you don't connect with the crowd, or the sound system is not how you expect it to be, or the promoter is dodgy, or, you know, it's just you're not feeling it. And actually many of them, I also told to Olivia before, like I've had like a run now of 2 or 3 weekends where there was actually nothing great, and it's hard to not let it like take you down, because sometimes I just come back from a weekend and that was okay. And it's also fine to accept those, because I mean, if everything would be great, then it would, you know, then you wouldn't have any momentum. And how
do you deal with that when you go back home, especially when it's a few weeks in a row, and you're like, fuck, just season back.
It's hard to not let it. I doubt myself.
Yeah.
But then I also rationally think this is the way it sometimes goes. Look at your calendar. There's a few dates where you're really looking forward to, and you probably know it's going to be great because you have a lot of friends coming, or it's a club that you've played before and you know it's a good one, you know. So focus on the good shows too. Don't let it bring you down too much. Sometimes it's just out of your control, you know. There's weekends that are good weekends, there's weekends that are bad weekends, and you shouldn't let it affect you too much, I think, even though it's sometimes hard when you play in an empty club, you know. But it happens to the best of us. Like I remember seeing Jeff Mills in Luxembourg once, and there was like 25 people on the dance floor. Jeff Mills, you know. So I tell myself, if this happens to him at his level, it will happen to you throughout your the entirety of your career.
Of course.
And that's okay. And you should really also be okay with that, in my opinion. And just be focused on what's to come and the good stuff, I would say.
But at the end, if these 25 people are enjoying the sound more than the 800 that you have in another club,
mission accomplished.
There you go. Like, where is the gig? What's the best gig at the end?
Well, you also, of course, get the energy from the crowd as a DJ, and if the dance floor is half empty, it's hard to like grasp a sort of complete energy, even if the 25 people go nuts. You know what I mean? So, yeah, what's the better one? Hard to say.
Natalie, thank you so much.
Thank you. It was great.